It's Thursday, the 5th of April, and the water level at Lake Oroville is at 794 feet, within 6 feet of the March-April flood control level of 800 feet. Operators are releasing water out of the Hyatt power plant in anticipation of a large storm approaching northern and central California, forecast to hit beginning tonight, Thursday night, and lasting through Saturday. This storm is another classic atmospheric river event, formerly known as a Pineapple Express, directing a fire hose of water all the way from Hawaii to northern and central California. And as such, it's a very warm storm, especially this late in the season, with snow levels initially beginning all the way up to 11,000 feet and then slowly working its way down maybe to 6,000 or 5,000 feet. So that means rain throughout the entire Sierra Nevada and a lot of melted snow and water into the Oroville watershed. My name's Juan Brown. You're watching the Blanco Lirio channel. It's time to get up in the mighty Luscombe and do an Oroville update. Because of construction at Oroville, operators had to design a whole new operations plan for the Oroville Reservoir for this flood season. And the plan is to bring, and they've executed it well, is to bring the water up slowly from about 750 feet through January, February, March, up to about 800 feet. And then after April, and they get the final hydrology reports, they're going to eventually top off Oroville Reservoir at 830 feet, well below the normal level. And the plan is right now, if in the event that the water achieves 830 feet of elevation and they're no longer able to keep it at 830 feet using the Hyatt power plant alone, they will open the main spillway. Right now, the Hyatt power plant has been ratcheted up from 9,400 CFS to 12,500 CFS. That means all 5 turbines. Remember, the 6th turbine is still out of service. They're running all 5 turbines at full tilt. They also have the river valve outlet system in operation, which can give them an additional 4,000 CFS for a total of 16,500 CFS. So at 794 foot elevation right now, that's only 19 to 20 feet from the bottom of the spillway and a total of 36 feet of room before they reach that 830 foot elevation. The April snow survey was recently conducted, perhaps the most important snow survey of the entire season. And if you average all the snow surveys up and down the state, they found that the state is now only 52% of its average snowpack for the year. And this is where in California we can talk about flood and drought in almost the same sentence. Though while at 52% still puts us well below average for the year, we're basically, as the folks at DWR mentioned at the snow survey, we're basically able to live off of last year's reserves. All the reservoirs up and down the state of California, with the exception of Oroville, are nearly full, about 100% capacity. And from all the water from last year, for example, San Luis Reservoir in central California, which does not take in water from the surrounding terrain, it's a pumping reservoir near the Banks inlet to the aqueduct system, they've been able to pump San Luis Reservoir full of water in anticipation of the less than average snowpack for this year. So you can get a sense of the delicate balance that operators have to use to fill up these reservoirs in California and meet all our hydrological needs, especially in the case of Oroville, where you have a reservoir spillway system under construction. You can also see how important each monthly snow survey is. That's the tip of the spear. You couple that along with weather forecasts to really help manage and properly manage the hydrologic situation in the state of California. So let's go up in the mighty Luscombe, take a look at construction to date, the progress on the emergency spillway and the laying of roller compacted concrete and the neat stair-step pattern that they're creating there. Also, let's look and see if water is still leaking out of the main spillway at the temporary RCC roller compacted concrete section, and we'll talk more about that once we get in the air.
Traffic, Trinidad 417, right base on runway.
Left tank is full. Right tank's full. Thanks to your kind contributions. Attitude is set. Run-up is complete. This is for safety. Nobody's on final. Seatbelts, doors, and windows. Cal Fire waiting for me. So with the approaching weather, once again, we got ourselves a quartering tailwind departing out of here. Wind's a bit out of the south. And on this end of the field, we got a quartering crosswind from the other direction. Because on both mixtures, rich. Lights are set, we're out of here. Let's go to Oroville.
Okay, back to the task at hand. I just had to show you the Table Mountain Ecological Preserve just north of Oroville. You can just make out Table Mountain on the right side of the screen next to the window frame. A basalt lava flow full of wildflowers and waterfalls. This footage was shot the day before on the 4th of April with the lake elevation of 794 feet. At 12,500 CFS, the lake level is dropping slowly. As we approach the inlet to the main spillway, you can see the water level just 20 feet below it, the long, shallow inlet to the main spillway. Unlike last year where operators had to operate the main spillway when it was busted at either 0 CFS or 50,000 CFS to prevent scouring and erosion of the busted spillway, this year they'll be able to, if they have to operate the main spillway, they can operate it at whatever flow they desire. DWR has also mentioned that if in the event they need to use the main spillway this year, that section of water flowing over the RCC or roller compacted concrete section may look a lot more turbulent than we're used to seeing, as the RCC section is not nearly as smooth as the structural concrete. Now let's take a closer look and see how things are progressing on the emergency spillway. Here you can see excavation beginning on the southern portion of the secant cutoff wall in anticipation of creating a second low spot for water to drain out of the emergency spillway and into the natural drainage below. Here on the right is the first low spot created, which all feeds into the natural drainage below, which was pretty well scoured out during last year's emergency. Here's a better look on the ground of what the stair-step pattern or waterfall feature of the emergency spillway splash pad looks like and how they finish it off. Again, this is all done with roller compacted concrete in 15-inch lifts compacted to 12 inches. Because of the huge amounts of material required for the emergency spillway, crews are having to blast fresh material from on the south side of the spillway, process it in the rock crushing plant just below there, and then drive it on the haul road all the way down across the bottom of the spillway and up to the RCC plant right next to the emergency spillway. Work will continue on this emergency spillway right up to the end of the project, December of this year or January of 2019. Now let's bend around here a little further and see what's going on with the water in the main spillway. So it looks like there's a pretty good amount of water coming from the middle left part of the RCC roller compacted concrete section, temporary section of the main spillway. Remember, this center RCC section of the main spillway has no drains in it yet. Those drains will be installed this year along with the structural concrete finish. That's why the walls of this RCC section have to come all the way down and the drains trenched into the RCC section to get this all plumbed up to match the new structural concrete finish, the final design for the main spillway. Also, too, to remember, this upper 750-foot section of original old spillway, though it's been patched and rock bolted, it's still the leaky old spillway and is allowing a certain amount of water to pass underneath that concrete. This upper section of old spillway will be completely demolished later on this year and replaced with all new structural concrete and an all new drain system. So as you can see, a whole lot of work to be done at Oroville this year, nearly 20% more work than was done last year, still under the same tight time constraints to have an operational main spillway and emergency spillway in place in time for next year's flood season. Flying over the Hyatt power plant below the dreaded green spot, where it's flowing at 9,500 CFS here and has since been cranked up to 12,500 CFS, with the outflow coming out the original two old diversion tunnels. So it looks like things are ready for the big storm ahead. Personally, I'd like to see some water flow through the main spillway in the name of science, if nothing else, to see how well does this RCC, this special hardened RCC, perform under various high water flows. And if water does flow over the main spillway, we'll definitely be reporting on it right here on the Blanco Lirio channel. Now let's head back to the barn for a little more crosswind landing practice and show you an exciting new camera angle by popular demand.
Okay, let's take a look at this new camera angle by popular request to see a little better over the nose for the landing back in Nevada County. Just a light crosswind out of the south today. Warm up with a little Dutch roll here.
300 Victor turning final 25 Nevada County.
Try to keep that nose on a point. See what that looks like in that camera angle view. Coordinating the rudder and aileron. Keep that on that point. Okay. So what we want to look for in this camera angle view on landing is the three-point attitude, the distance of the top of the cowling to the horizon, and the straightness of the cowling to the center line of the runway. Again, we got a crosswind today, but a much lighter crosswind than last time, only about 3 or 4 knots out of the south. We'll be landing on runway 25 to the west with a crosswind out of our left. Again, on these intercom videos, The audio is left channel only. No need to readjust your set. Alaska 71608, left crosswind 25, Nevada County. On the crosswind entry for 25.
This is 50263, holding short 25, Nevada County.
Who wants to hold short and see the air show?
With the traffic, 706 signals on our deck.
Gas undercarriage mixed prop.
Over flight is on the 2000 and
Trim.
the right traffic for runway 25
Line is
right.
clear.
This over. Real traffic, 763 over the midfield at 2,000 feet will be joining traffic pattern for touch and go for runway 25, real visa traffic.
Big side slip. A little bit more. Kablamo! Full stall 3-point.
Real traffic, 703.
A little bit short on that one. After all.
Runway 25 for touch and go, real visa traffic.
608, clear 25, Nevada County. Maybe we can
Nevada
get
County traffic,
gas truck fuel, yeah.
263, taking runway 25, departing to the northwest of traffic 25, Nevada County.
Let's get some gas.